Hello, everyone. I got Maximus out of here, aka Max. Um, that happens, guys. Um, it happens. Sometimes I'm going to have to end the lives before I want to. Um, it's not the first live it's happened on, so I'm convinced it's not going to be the last. Um, we took pictures of everything. We ran his ass out of here. Took a few minutes. He was strong. Hi, Millie. Hi, Angie. Hey, Brother Thomas. Thanks for coming back, guys. So, this morning I was ice cold. Like I said, I didn't know anything about the case. I was just going off of what I was visually being shown and told, right? So, some of the things you guys heard me say, some of the things I was just writing them down because I couldn't quite figure them out. So, uh, immediately after the live and while cleaning, me and the team got together, and this part I mean the human team, um, and we went back and forth with a little bit of the specs of the case, things I had no idea about. I did not know that the girl went missing, and by that I mean Cherry. I do believe that her original family would have called her Sherry, but everyone that knew her would have called her Cherry. It was a very simple switch. Um, I do believe she was taken at a very young age, before the age of 3. But I didn't see her at that age. They showed me a teenager somewhere between the ages of 13, and I'm stretching it a little bit and going to 17 there, but she clearly doesn't look to be 17. Okay. Um, what they showed me was a bunch of street signs, and I recognize these signs. I recognize Pennsylvania Avenue. I recognize California Street. I recognize Texas. I recognize all these streets because they're on the south side of St. Louis. Um, I kept picking up vibes of a pimp, right? I now know that her stepfather would have been a pimp that ran the south side of St. Louis. Her mother would have been married to him. It wouldn't have been her biological father, but it would have been her stepfather. And, um, well, the mother was a prostitute. She married her pimp, basically, and then she was found in a body bag in the Mississippi River. Cherry would have been missing, or Sherry would have went missing very shortly thereafter. Her mom would have been missing and then found dead or unalived. So um, I am literally dealing with a very, very shady situation. I do believe that Alexander, as he liked to say it, old enough to know better, he was a grown man, and he would have somehow knew the family, probably through the father, who now I know to be one of the Southside pimps. Um, Matthew would have been another one that would have probably ran in that circle. Now, when she was kidnapped or taken, um, she wasn't unalived right then and there. She was taken either to be raised as someone's child or possession, piece of property. She was kept. I saw someone that rip and ran the streets, was a teenager, was laughing, was having fun. So I think she was taken, or maybe the father, after the mother was dealt with, he didn't want that responsibility and could have given her uh, away. and she wouldn't have known. That's why I might have been picking up on the system, right? There's a couple of different ways this is going to go as I learn more about her and the case and everything that this little beautiful little girl went through. Like I said, I do believe the ones that call her Cherry would have been part of the after part of her life, of her not realizing she was one, kidnapped, or two, given away by the stepfather. I have not got clarity on any of that, so I am not going to make any assumptions. I am not going to speak on that until I get more clarity. I do have some decks out. I would like to look some more into the case. Thank you so much, Coyote. I appreciate that. Um, But again, guys, that's why I literally gave on part one like a 20-minute disclaimer of shit that could possibly happen. Just know that we, myself, Mosaic Insight, and Circle, the three of us living beings, are very safe. Yes, they can affect electrical shit in the house. It happens, especially when you start blending realities and different things that are going on, and not everybody is going to play fairly. Some people are not going to like it, and I do believe that Alexander, although he was a bad guy, and I do believe this little girl's life, I do believe that he was also a victim of the world that he introduced this girl to. I'm not sure where he comes into it at. He um he may have just been witness to all of it and never said anything, and now his conscience isn't clear. He's paying penance for not being a good human. I don't know. I don't know anything about him. Um they can be deceitful when they're not all the way um crossed over to the good side, so to speak, if you understand what I mean. Those that are fully crossed over, to my knowledge and my understanding with dealing with them, they can't do harm. They're like working on earning shit, like their wings and halos and all of that good stuff, right? They're fully crossed over so that they can be fully prepared and fully anchored as an ancestor to help us. You know, they want the best for us normally, most of the time. There are those that are going to come through when I'm dealing with bad guy energy guys that are going to be pushy bullies, assholes. And you just cannot let them bully you. And I may have to shut down lives. If a victim comes in here, I will shut down lives. So these are just updates of shit that can happen, will happen, might happen. Can't schedule it, but you can almost guarantee that it will probably happen. Weird shit's gonna happen. um, Alexander could have been running from Maximus, or AKA Max. He doesn't like to be called Maximus, even though that is his name. Um, so sometimes they get a little taste of what energy can do, and they don't move on so quickly. They linger. They become quite dull as a spirit, but they become quite charged in a way that isn't the friendliest, but they can't like always physically do harm because they're still attached to that soul thing, right? And they're not willing to give it up because they know if they give it up, then they lose it and they don't get to come back. So they know things a little differently once they get over there, and some of them are still holding on to a lot of trickster energy. And Maximus is one of those that is um, enjoying his afterlife, so to speak. So I thoroughly moved him completely out of the neighborhood, and I can't completely remove him. It's not possible. Doesn't work like that. But I can now safely say he's out of my area and he's bugging someone else. So good riddance to him. There's going to be things I have no control over, guys. I'm sorry. I know everybody wants to say that there's control, but there's not. If you say you have it, I call bullshit. I just do. So, I do believe words like sinister that were being said. And like I said, I wrote a lot more down than I physically was speaking. I want to call her Sherry, even though I don't believe she would have known that to be her real name. She would have been quite young, unfortunately, when she was taken and or kidnapped. Or we're just going to leave it with missing because that's what it is, right? So I don't want to assume. I don't have a lot of details yet, but I am thoroughly checked into this one on top of the other ones that I'm doing privately that I cannot and I will not speak about. I will only speak on the lives for those that I am not working with law enforcement, private investigators, or the families. If I am in any way working with those individuals, it's not a public domain situation. So we will use this time and this platform to discuss public cases. And right now, this case is still very open, very active. It's just a cold case. And if at any point any of the family, again, I iterate and speak directly to family, um, feel free to reach out to me. I have no problem with removing this from public domain. So um, they showed me images of this little girl who they called Cherry, living a teenage years amount of time, right? So this child, um, I was not able to make a connection to her yet because I had the interference from good old Maximus. But um, I am going to try to reconnect, not with the boxes, guys, just with my team, just with my mirrors, my smoke, and my cards. So I have other ways of channeling that I don't need boxes. Boxes, for real, honestly, guys, they're for you guys. They're not for me. I have the white noise in my head all the time. I don't need it. But you guys can't hear what I can hear. So I play it on digital and analog so that you can tell that it's really there. Some of the pre-programmed sounds that the digital box makes, I can't control that. I mean, you guys know there's nobody going ooh in the background. Listen, I still get jump scares, guys. I'm not kidding you. Yesterday, day before, sitting in the living room, right? Minding my own damn business, not bothering a soul. This asshole jumps up out of the damn table, boo, and scares the fuck out of me. I drop my phone. I think I had my cart or a lighter or something in my hand. I drop everything. I scream. I still get jump scares, guys. They can still reach me. So it happens. None of us are immune to the shit. Some of us are just a little more comfortable. That's it. And that's all. And I'm just a little more comfortable because I've been doing it for a very long time. And I will not allow them to bully me or intimidate me. So when I have to cut short, please have patience with me. I will come back as soon as I run the energy out, as long as it hasn't taken hours and hours and hours and hours. Now, if it has exhausted me from running out the negative, I'm not going to come back that day. We'll have to pick it up on the next Thursday. So it's mainly about just respect because I'm going to always have respect for the dead. It's just who I am. It's how I'm built. So, when they get disrespectful, I get a little pushy, and I'm not gonna put that out there for everyone to see because it's just I'm not here for the clicky baity bullshit. So I don't have to prove anything. I'm not here for any of that. So I'm gonna try to pull her back in, and I almost think that um, if I could get her to realize she she doesn't. I don't think she realizes she's missing. Is that kind of I think that's kind of what they're telling me. Like, at the time of her becoming unalived, I don't believe she knew she was technically kidnapped or missing. I believe she was living her life. Even if she was a piece of property, at some point, somehow, she was able to get out occasionally because I see, bicycles and kids, and I can hear laughter and playground. I grew up in the streets of St. Louis in the 80s. I know what I'm hearing, and I'm hearing that. Like, I'm, like, nostalgically being thrown back to a place, and that I wellly understand. I get it. But at the same time, I also get it on other levels, right? I get it on the level of the here and now, so to speak, but I also understand the shady, dirty, twisted shit that was going on, at that time too, and believe it or not, there was a lot of shit like this happening. So, I want very much to get comfortable with calling her um, Sherry Barnes, but I literally, um and so the little girl they're showing me looks mixed, right? And I feel like the family that she would have been born into might have been so okay, it's kind of gonna get fucking twisted here for a minute, but this is just the vibes I'm getting, right? So hypothetically, I just want to be delicate as I say this. Okay, I feel like maybe her I feel like her mom might have lied about who her father is, biologically her father. I feel like her father would have been a black man. I strongly feel like her father would have been a black man, not the I gotta be careful with my words here. Oh, how do I ooh, I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, but hey, I'll find the words. I'll find the words. Um, what are my words? What are my words? I feel like her mom wouldn't have been I feel like her mom already was probably shunned because of her lifestyle, but I feel like her family, had they known she had a black man's baby, it might have been a whole different, uglier situation for her. Or 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 take it one step further, it could be the reason she's dead. Maybe someone found out who the biological father is. I don't know. There is a lot of dirty, misleading there it feels quite gross, actually. I recognize the energy. Unfortunately, I knew a lot of kids that grew up in the situation, having been in the system myself in that area. Just hearing those kids' stories growing up, knowing the nightmares that we were living in, you know? Hmm. I don't feel like she would have recognized if somebody would have said Sherry, I don't think she would have recognized that. I I feel like she would have only known her name to be Cherry. And I know that that is a very simple spelling situation, but it's not necessarily even in the spelling. It's just in the way you're pronouncing it differently, right? So if you spell out cherry, okay, and then you spell out sherry, but not with an sh, but with a ch, you can get the ch sound, and you can easily switch it from sh to ch, and especially if they would have referred to her as a mixed girl or even black, they would have the family wouldn't have thought nothing of it. Even if they would have looked at her and thought that she looked different, it would have been many years difference, because like I said, if she was taken at 2.5, less than 3, and maybe even if she was, you got me fucked up. Michelle, you got me fucked up. Maybe the family would have recognized her. Maybe. I don't know. You know, she may have looked quite different. Her hair may have been very different. I don't know, but I do feel like there is a very thin line there that I have to be quite delicate, like I do not want to again assume or insinuate any of this. This is just strictly what I'm going by, what I'm feeling, what they're showing me. Yeah, real fucking funny, and look, that was uncool. But I love you though. She made it too realistic. Honestly, I knew it was a knock. You know, it's the ones where you can't tell if it was that a knock. Like, what the fuck was that? Yeah, those are the ones that make you say, that was a knock. Yeah, that was like a hello. Yeah, that was clearly human. But I'll take the human shit too, though. So, but man, she brought tears to my eyes with that shit. Hold on. Woo. Anyway, so this beautiful little girl, the little girl they kept showing me, she had a giggle, she had a laugh, you know. And at some point, like I said, she would have had some years of living, because they're showing me streets and it's the same laughter. It's the same little girl that I'm seeing, and it's all kind of the same area over there. And they kept saying words like AB and shit like that. So I know what AB is, right? And if you're from St. Louis, then you know what AB is. If you're from Missouri, you probably know what AB is. But if you do not know what AB is, and you're not from Missouri or the Midwest, or you've never drank beer in your life, let me tell you what AB is. Anheuser-Busch. So I stretched my reach out to see how far out she would show me. And I went as far out as Soulard. So she showed me AB. She ran around somewhere down there close to that area, but not as far as Soulard. So when I start getting slingshotted back, it's because I've gone too far, right? So picture this microphone as Anheuser-Busch, this giant, and when I say giant, if you know, you know. If not, Google it. It's huge, right? So, and it was even bigger back then, because it's connected to, at that point, it was connected to a shipyard and the rail yard. It was bigger. It's not as big as it used to be. And also at that time, I believe it was still competing with the Limp Mansion, Limp Brewery. There was several things going on at that time in the early 80s. So anyway, when I would go from Anheuser-Busch, you're beyond Broadway, right? So you're on Broadway, right? And you are headed towards the Arch area. You are headed in the Soulard Market area, which is all still South Side, but I kept getting slingshot back. So AB, Anheuser-Busch, is about as far south to the river as she was taking me, but then she took me almost as far as Pennsylvania, which is pretty damn close to the river again. So there are several points where I'm incredibly close to the Mississippi River. There at Anheuser-Busch, and then when she showed me images over there in the area of where I lived the latest, which was like 2016, 2017, which was Pennsylvania Avenue. So, but she's showing me it at a time of the 80s. So she maybe early 90s, but that's pushing it. I mean, pushing it. But timeline, I mean, space-wise, where we're talking. So we're at Anheuser-Busch, so that's kind of right there, just past the arch. So if you're like looking, you have the arch like right here, and you have Anheuser-Busch here, and they have a few other beautiful monuments in the middle of that. So we have this going this way, right? So we have this going this way. So going this way towards the arch and Soulard Market is too far south, right? So we really need to stay on the not the boogie side, but close to the boogie. The South County, what they would call South County, even though it's South Side, they would call it South County back then. What are you beating? What? Oh, are you quilting? What are you quilting? Okay, anyway, that's a distraction. I don't need the distraction right now. Okay, all right, let's look at some cards. Y'all, I'm excited to do the live. I don't know when I'm going to do it. Like I said, I'm going to get with Sherry, Voices from the Swamp, Jackie. I'm going to get with a few other people and find out when they would be available. And I'm going to put this together. I'm super excited. I really, really have a strong connection to this deck, and I can't wait. Because I'm going to like knock out. I'm not going to need all of these decks because it's going to be one deck doing all of this. So it's going to be so good. All right. So where are we at institution-wise? Institution-wise. Institution. So let's go back to 2.5. Where was she at 2.5? Where was this little girl at around the time her mother went missing? Where was a time around that it would have been her and her mother before her mother passed? When would that have been? What would that have looked like? What could that have looked like? Oh, no justice for the mother. Okay, and we got fucking the miser, greed coming in, and we got a tower moment. We got temperance. So we got justice in reverse and temperance in reverse. We got fucking 4 of coins over here. Look at this miser. Look at this greedy ass asshole. This has got to be the stepfather, right? It's got to be the stepfather coming in. And then we got fucking the tower card. We got the lightning card, right? So the lightning card, also the house of God, all of them are tower cards, right? So she would have been living in a situation where there was no justice for her mother. There was no balance. There was no nurturing at all. It doesn't appear to be. Looks like it was the exact opposite, actually. So this would have been what would her mother's life, crime, unaliving, what would that have been like for little Sherry? Little Sherry, what would that have looked like? Today's National Daughters Day. Oh, wow. Everybody that's got those precious, beautiful things. I've got granddaughters, so hold them tight. Hold them tight. Oh my God. And doing a read like this, witnesses will not fully disclose the facts. Victim knew the family and is familiar with their killer. The killer is now out of the area. Mm. Dowsing rods. Is the killer still in the area? That's. Did I just hit a nerve? What did you do that for? Like they literally were just like, is the killer? Is the bad guy for the mother? Is he still alive? Is he still alive? He's still alive. Okay. Um, relax. Did the stepfather hurt Sherry before he allowed her to be removed? Whoa. Okay. Relax. 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 All the way. Relax. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Come on. Come on. I'm going to pull you farther apart. That's what I thought. Okay. Did the person that hurt Sherry know anything about the mother? Okay. So I'm dealing with two different individuals? No? Maybe I'm dealing with two individuals that know each other. Maybe. What is that? What is that? What is that? Wonder where that's going. You got shit going on at your house, Janet? Yes, go get some sage. I will burn. I've got Stumpy ready right here. Y'all say hi to Stumpy. This is one of my wives. Speak no evil, hear no evil, do no evil. This is one of my wives. His name is Stumpy. He is loaded and ready to go. So we like this to protect all of the gems that are sitting here. May no malicious energy be allowed to enter their space. May every one of my gems be protected. Ouch. The flame came all the way through. You see his mouth lighten up? I have an incense going right here. And I just lit Stumpy for you guys. So Stumpy's over here going for you guys, keeping my gems safe. So he's over here going to work for you guys too. So I wonder if both bad guys are available. Okay, so here's where open mic kicks in. If you guys have any questions you would like to ask the rods, I might need to grab a deck of yawns. I don't know. Damn, Apple. Why are you exploding like that? Don't do that, Apple. We don't work like that. Feel free to drop the question. If I missed the question, just let me know I missed the question. I'll go look for it. I don't need a list keeper or anything like that. It's just an open mic, so it's just random questions. And right now I am kind of channeling between both the mother and the daughter. So if you have questions about what could have happened, might have happened. If you have questions you would like to have the dowsing rods answer about the case, we don't know anything about the case unless you are actively looking at the case right now. Feel free to absolutely look the case up, see anything you want. If there's a story involved, names, places, any of that, feel free. So, stepfather energy. I get we all have thorns, but I feel like he had more than just thorns, right? And I also get Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So we all have thorns, right? This must have been the love story that he sold her, right? Being the one that marries the pimp, that marries the hoe, so to speak. As they say, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, and you can't turn a trick into a husband. Um, I'm lightly using that example, but at the same time, in a way, it kind of applies here, right? Because we got the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde going on with the stepfather energy. Yeah, he might have played the role, so to speak, but he made sure that everyone knew he had thorns. He was not to be played with. He may have played the role quite well, as pimps did in the 80s and 70s, especially in the Midwest, from Chicago all the way as far Midwest as I can think of. Every state had big pimps. Yeah, I kept picking up on pimps and prostitutes and hoes, and I'm like, wait, where is all of this energy coming from? Like, I kept trying to like hone in on all of it. And I did not ever put any of it together until after the live, when I talked to um the people that helped me like investigate, get some kind of factual basis for me, so that I'm just not out there just gathering all the wrong information, right? Because you can gather the wrong information just as easily as you can gather the right information. And that's why I choose to go cold. That way, when I do pick up on it, I do pick up on it. So I can't know about it and pick up on it if it isn't actually there. So I do have a little bit of an advantage on that part, but it usually leaves me with a lot of questions. But then the questions get answered when I talk to my team, and my team says, well, the father was this, the mother was this happened here, this happened there. So I'm clearly picking up on all of the energy. I just don't know quite how it all goes together. Right now it's just in the cauldron and it's just stewing around, right? I haven't been able to successfully bring it together so that I can embrace the whole thing of it, right? The mental mind frame, like, where would be the benefit of a pimp marrying his hoe or his prostitute or whatever, right? So benefits, well, obviously you're keeping all the money in house, especially if she's like your top dollar hoe. Then you're not probably laying down with her because, I mean, if we're being honest, 70s and 80s, HIV was running crazy. I mean, it still is. I'm not saying that it all of a sudden disappeared, but what I'm saying is it was rampant. Even though it wasn't as well spoke on, it was out there and, well, it was everywhere. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I could go into a lot of like just the dark bullshit that would be going on, like just the control factor, especially with this showing up, right? This little, look how greedy he fucking looks. Look, that is definitely the miser. That is the Scrooge of all Scrooge. He looks at his money as it's a pretty little thing that he's got to have more of, right? There's never enough. There's never enough. Um, I get that concept, right? He would have had to play the dual perspective. He would have had to be this husband, doting father, stepfather energy. He would have needed to seem somewhat remorseful in a world where he was thoroughly snowballing pretty much anybody and everybody in his life. And then I still haven't figured out who the Alexander is for sure, because the father, um, I, I wanted to say that the father like, I tried to pick up on if the father, like, sexually assaulted her, but I really didn't get them vibes. I didn't get them vibes from her when she would show me images of what I think is her as a teenager running the streets. And like I said, it was very specific. She showed me California Street, Pennsylvania, Texas, Ohio. These are, and they're all within uh, I'd say a mile and a quarter ish radius of each other, except for maybe Pennsylvania. But the Pennsylvania was the last street I saw before she went missing. Like I didn't see anymore. Like, and at that time, I'm guessing because I'm terrible with guessing, guys. So I'm saying she was somewhere between 13 and 17 years old. Um, she's not very big either. I'm not saying that she was malnutrition, but she's quite small for her age. At least it seems like it to me. I did raise kids, and um, my oldest son is, I guess, smaller framed than my youngest son. My youngest son is excessively large. He's 6'6", 270. His father's 6'9", 6'8". Like Terrell's huge. I'm a little bitty short shit at 5'7". He like towers over me, and so does Quentin, our son. But he did it a lot at a very, even at the age of 2 and 3 and 4, Quentin was growing rapidly. Where Chris only always kind of stayed like Chris is like my height. He's like 5'8", 5'9". 5'10" would definitely be pushing it. He's definitely not 5'10". Like my brother, he's like 6 something. My mom was like 4'11", 5'1", something like that. So when I'm looking at her, I would say that she's definitely at least 13. Maybe she was 15 when I'm seeing her in the area of like, okay, so the area of Pennsylvania Avenue, right? So there's a couple of parks over there, and I saw like the parks, like she would have been at the parks. There's a swimming pool over there, and it's always been over there. It's been over there for years and years and years. I can't think of the name of the park right now. I think it starts with an M, but it's been there for years and years and years. Um, but it also back then in the 80s, you wouldn't have wanted to be there after dark. Like if you were gonna let your kids play there, it would have definitely been during the day. I'm probably even supervised. But after dark, it would have been a different situation. Would have been a different lifestyle coming out after dark completely. See, I think so. Okay, so here's where I kept picking up vibes like someone was being sold or traded or something like that, right? And I was thinking it was Alexander, like Alexander must have already received it and he was the one that set her up, so to speak. I don't think so. I think the dad did. Like somehow I think the dad might have done it because I can't see her being living right there. And then again, yeah, actually I can because I was witness to it on different occasions and different people in different places in my life. In fact, right now I know someone that I didn't know was kidnapped and I grew up with them. He went to Beaumont like fucking high school. And when he found out that he was a missing person, he immediately like it changed everything for him. One of the fucking freaks, the Southside Rapist. He had another name. I forget what he was, but he loved the name the Southside Rapist. I knew him. I knew him so motherfucking well. I went to school with him, and he was hurting women horribly and just dropping them in the river, the Mississippi, and bodies were turning up all the time from that lifestyle, and they were disappearing in the south side of St. Louis. They might have been picked up downtown or on the east side because that was where they were working. I've known some weird motherfuckers in my life, and granted, I do not fuck with them today. And when I found out that information, I quickly cut them out of my life. Like, holy fuck! Thank God I made it. I can't believe they did that. They whoa. You look back at your life and you think, holy fuck. Um, so I just have a lot to put together still with this situation. I don't have it fully 100% comfortably enough to where I'm ready to do like a pre-record yet. So ultimately, we will get there. I'm not there right now today. I don't feel like I picked up enough. Um, I do think that there are a lot of blurry lines here. I do believe that she was given away because so I went with two different things, right? Because I literally feel like I picked up on the energy of this, right? I feel like at some point he had to be this doting father or whatever, this husband, so to speak. But then, like I said, the after hours life, the behind closed door private life, was a different situation, right? And I feel that after the mother was unalived, and also then found after she was missing, and then X amount of time goes by and she gets found in the Mississippi River right around East St. Louis, the boogie. Um, I think somehow Alexander put two and two together, and I think that somehow maybe the stepfather, may have unalived him. I do think Alexander is a bad guy in this situation, and I do believe that I have got a lot to figure out because there's still a Matthew from the South Side going on that I haven't put together yet. I clearly don't know who Matthew from the South Side is, but I've still got to figure that part out. But again, it could have been a crew, right? It could have been just different pimps in the area. So I'm gonna have to do my due diligence. I may even have to reach out to some of my friends that still very much live in the Midwest. They still live in that area. Maybe somebody I know will have known something, heard something, and then I can maybe pick up some clues in this cold case. I am very interested in knowing more. So I do like where I'm at with this, and I would hope to close a little bit better. But this was just a part two because I didn't want you guys to think that anybody that was here was in any kind of danger. I do feel that um, the next Thursday will be even more put together. I'm going to be adding like a gong or something if I can find one that is affordable. I'm going to be adding like a gong or something. I need something. See, every time I've always done this, I've always had some kind of tool, a bell or something, not necessarily a bell, but like my wind chimes or something where that would absorb, give them the reason to pass through, to let the energy go because they have energy pent up too. And sometimes shit happens. So, I'm going to spend a little bit of time trying to see what Amazon offers, if there's anything I can add to my wish list. If not, I'll reach out to a few of my private clients that do help me with tools and equipment. And I will see if something can be arranged for that item to find me. So I do have a couple of options. I just don't know exactly which way. I really think I'm leaning towards maybe a gong or something that can be just floating, and it doesn't have to be very big, right? It just needs to be big enough for them to release their energy onto. Millie says, I feel like there's a reason why they wanted you to research this case, and perhaps and it's a strong possibility. Like I said, I had no control over who they picked. And these were the original 5, and we're gonna work through these 5. Right now, we're gonna do these first 2, which is, um, Sherry, aka Cherry, and Lisa. Unfortunately, I haven't picked up anything on Lacey yet. Um, I did actually get confirmation on one of my privates that I did note down while I was running the other energy out. So I guess I did get 2 things done today productively. And I also ran Maximus completely out of the neighborhood. So um, yeah, something with sound so that it carries the sound has to carry past what we can hear, right? So it does have to be disruption. So either I'm gonna need to get some kind of drum. Um, I don't know if drum would work. Drum helped me run it out afterwards, but the incoming, right? I need them to be able to pass through it, right? So it needs to be like sitting somewhere in an area close to wherever my door would be when they open my door. Because when I open my door, an equal and opposite door opens in the unknown, the side I can't see, right? And that's the side I'm needing to protect right now, because that's the side that decided they wanted to hotwire our smoke detector. So that's the energy that Maximus comes in on. And he's not the only one. There's thousands of them, unfortunately. So I am going to look, and Mosaic agrees. We do need to bring this tool into the house sooner rather than later, especially doing this. So now I have found out very rapidly, quickly that I now need 2 tools. One, I will obtain the gong some way privately, somehow. The other one, the deck, I am going to be doing funding for. I need to be able to focus, and I can't focus if I'm shuffling between all the different decks. And the deck is worth it, but it is expensive. So I'll be putting that together next week um, for uh, a live for the funding of the deck. Probably be close to the end of the month for that. And that way, hopefully, I can get the deck in October and be ready to go by the last harvest fully. And by then, I will hopefully add the gong. Mo and I feel like it should be a gong of some kind. So I do know that Lifted Realm has some beautiful gongs that are even a good size, like the size of my laptop, something that can actually release sound, right? Um, but they're a little expensive. And I do need to keep it at a very affordable place. I'm going to be looking in several places. And I'm going to start with Amazon. I can't guarantee I will find anything there, but I have high hopes that I will. But if I do not, I will reach out to a few of you that have already. What's the name of the deck? I will send you all of the information, Rossi. I have all of her information. She has a YouTube channel. She's wonderful. It's hold on. Um, one second here. It's Abundant Life Tarot is her YouTube channel name, and the deck is Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. It's the second edition. When I was going to get it a couple of years ago, it would have been the first edition. I'm kind of glad that it's the second edition because I do believe all of the expansion packs are put into it now. So that's why it may be even a little bit more expensive. But anyway, I have the link. I have everything right here. But it's our very own Abundant Life Tarot. She's got several beautiful, amazing decks. She's an amazing artist. She's a beautiful creator. And I love supporting my fellow YouTubers. Several of you, I never have much, but some of you know when I pop in, I may send you a couple bucks, $5, $10, whatever I got, or I may send you a love box because I love you with no strings attached, no receipts, just love. Um, so I give back in different ways. So Rossi, I will send you the link so that you can look at everything. You are one of my loyal supporters to my channel. You helped me grab my beautiful microphone that I love and I can't get enough of. And my Athlame that you found. I I I I love you so much. All right, guys. I'm actually going to leave this right here. I need to pick back up and focus, and I'm really distracted. So, like I said, I don't have enough to do the pre-record yet. So next Thursday we will pick this back up, and I am going to actively look for a gong, and I'm going to send Rossi the link to the deck that I would like to crowdfund with you guys. Like I said, it's a one and done. It's not like anything, and I have decks. I really occasionally get attached to a deck, and this is my opportunity to hopefully earn it with you guys supporting me. I love you guys. Rossi, I will send that just as soon as I end. Millie, everybody here, Mo, Janet, Brother Thomas, all of you gorgeous, beautiful people. Thank you so much for being here for part two, for letting me clarify and show you a little bit of what I've been able to put together so far. I will dive in much more and we will pick back up on Sherry next Thursday. And hopefully I'll be able to bring in Lisa, and then we will move on to some more. If you guys have anyone that is in your hometown or in your city or just something you've always wanted me or anyone to look into, put it in the comments. Feel free to drop it in the comments. We can create a list. I told you guys, I want to figure out how to make one of them wheel board things, and we can just put all of the different cases in the wheel and we can use the wheel. But I got to figure out how to do it. All right. I love you guys. Rossi, the link's on the way, and I will see you guys on tomorrow's show, Friday's fixtures. Bye, guys.